Greetings, Marsh here, and welcome to episode 48 of my modded Factorio playthrough. In this episode, we are going to set up ore processing for nickel and silicon. Enjoy! And it's going to be a pretty small setup here. Just one ore processor into two chemical furnaces into one blast furnace. So we could probably do some direct inserting with all of this. We don't need any special fuels. Let's see, let's pick all this up. It's a little crowded up here, so let's just do the processing down here. So we have an ore processor taking nickel and processing it into processed nickel. Then two chemical furnaces. First time using those. Making the cathodes. From sulfuric acid. Let's see. Let's make sure the inserters will fit properly. They will. And both of these are feeding back into one blast furnace. Looks like the chemical furnaces do not require any fuel, but the blast furnaces do. So we can have a fuel belt coming in there. And there's our output. And there's a setup, and I guess it would need a light somewhere right around there. Okay, now that we have it built, will it fit up here? Kinda. It actually kinda does. Just need to move some of these pipes around. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Fuel gets sent in. And we just need to get the nickel in here. Right now it's shut down because we don't quite have enough nickel. So we won't really see how it works, but I kind of want to fire it up anyway. Just to see. Because how will we know if it works if we don't test it? Okay, so we got all these pipes that we have to get to reach. So we can do that. I hadn't noticed, but doing it this way does not require any carbon monoxide anymore, using the nickel cathodes instead. Which means that a whole bunch of this stuff is not necessary anymore. So we don't need to make carbon monoxide. We don't need to electrolyze purified water. We don't need this treatment plant. Any of these pipes. Or this purified water. Although I do guess we need the purified water for these liquefiers here. There we go. That's all cleaned up. So we need to bring in sulfuric acid. Which is right here. But we have disconnected it because we didn't want to make any more fertilizer. Well, we can accomplish that same goal by disconnecting that right there. So we'll hook that up again because it'll make it a little easier to pipe the acid in if we can just use this right here. Okay, nickel's almost ready to go, but I kind of want to just fire it up anyway just to see how it works. So let's take a 0 off of that. And see how this goes. see, it's looking pretty good, although that balance was set up for just how many sorters we had. We might be able to get better performance, at least if we put a second ore processor up here. So like right here, right there. There we go, looking good. Hopefully processing some of that sulfur dioxide gas so we can start making lead again. Looks like it's kinda going. I'll take it. But unfortunately we have to turn this off again because I do want to collect 10,000 of it first. Okay, those are the 5 ores upgraded using the ore processors. The only thing we're left with now is silicon. And we are using silicon to make more efficient iron, so although it's a byproduct, more efficiently processing it will help. It's a little buried, but we'll have to research to get to it. First thing we need is the gas and oil extraction, which I was talking about earlier, because we want to get oil sand liquefaction, so this is a good research to do, but also you can do natural gas separation or oil separation for depending on if you are mining natural gas or oil. But since we won't be doing either of those things yet, all we need to worry about is oil sand, so we'll grab that. And then we need to do gas processing. I don't think we need any of these processes for chlorine, or at least for the thing we want to do. But it opens up the gas refinery, bigger gas tank, and more methods of processing natural gas, basically. So you turn the raw gas into natural gas liquids, and then you can fraction off the gas liquids into the various gases you might need. But we won't need to do any of that in the beginning. We're just researching to get to advanced silicon smelting. And with those things, we can now do chlorine processing. So the main thing we're here for is electrolyzing saline water, which will give us sodium hydroxide, and chlorine gas and hydrogen gas. Then chloromethane gas, which we don't need right now, but what we need is hydrogen chloride gas. So it's interesting to where we electrolyze saline water to get 40 chlorine and 60 hydrogen, and then we combine it again, but at a different ratio. So instead of 40 and 60, it's 50 and 50. So it looks like this is going to create an excess of hydrogen gas. And that's okay, we can easily burn it to get rid of it. We can make hydrochloric acid if we need to, just add water to it. And then the ferric chloride and cupric chloride are solutions that we can make by adding iron or copper, and those are used in other processes. Which is good. And then finally, to processing silicon. So the ore processors handle it pretty normally. And then we do hydrogen chloride gas and process silicon to get whatever that is, and hydrogen gas, and then we can make the ingots. It looks like that research is happening pretty quick. While it is, let's use Helmod and calculate this out. So the last thing we need to do is silicon ore, which we will process. Let's see. Let's link by input for now and see what it says. Let's process silicon. So we click on that. Oh, okay, that's interesting. So it takes some silicon ingots and trichlorosilane to make more silicon ingots. That's an interesting process. Okay. Well, in the end, the process is the same where 2 go in and 3 go out, so it's a 50% increase. Let's see, let's change this to the limiting factor here. I do want to do like direct insertion, so let's do something like this. So it's actually kind of a similar setup to how nickel was handled, really. It's not that much different. Where we're going to have 2 ore processors up here, but instead of 2 to 1, it's just 1 to 1. And then we're going to need to make that gas. So the hydrogen chloride gas. So from a chemical plant, looks like we need very little of it. And we need the chlorine gas. Which is right there. One electrolyzer. So we probably don't need to do a big setup using the electrodes. I don't even know if we can with chlorine, but this is small enough to where we can just do this right here at the location that we need to in order to make it work. Could probably do it like right here or something like this, but we could just place some machines and see what happens. So the two ore processors. Looks like we need to wait a second for that to catch up. But then they feed into one chemical furnace. That furnace goes into another one. Why is this all backed up? Oh. Stone is completely backed up. Okay. Well, that is okay. I can place a whole bunch more concrete. This isn't really working as intended. Because it's just feeding into itself. I see. Well, we probably don't need this or this. I don't have anything in my inventory to replace these right now, but there we go. I noticed that both silos had resources in it, which means it wasn't working correctly. But it's still running. Okay. No more of these shenanigans. Let's just set up a network condition for this. And solve this problem. I guess I should have done that from the beginning. Oops. So let's put some splitters here. And the way that it works is that we always want to give priority to the byproducts. So this is the iron producing side. So the priority is the copper automatically goes in. And on this side, the copper side, the iron automatically goes in. And then it has a bypass. And the bypass is the thing that is controlled with a circuit condition. Right here. Although it's not quite lined up here. There we go. So iron will only go in the primary method if there is less than 2,000. That's not very symmetrical. Set this to copper. And hook it up. So that should work. Oh no, they're set to the wrong thing. There we go. That is copper. That is iron. Okay, I think we're good now. Let's see what happens. Good, the copper's backing up. So now the iron's running for a bit to get this filled up to 2,000. And then it should stop. Might as well keep that research going, since we have seemingly lots of resources again. Okay, and that clogged up. Great. Both sides are stopped because they're filled up like they should be. Okay, disaster averted. I just noticed something here, that the seedling nest on the assembly machine isn't set anymore. So I searched for it, and it's not there. So I go into the technologies here, and the seedling nest is made in a liquefier now, or a chemical plant, not in the assembly machine. How quickly things become outdated. Version 3. Oh well, there's enough on the belt right now that I'm not going to worry about changing that, but something to keep in mind, especially if you've been following how I've been doing things. You're like, but I tried to do it that way and it wouldn't let me. It's like, well, sorry. The mods changed too quickly. I try to keep everything up to date, but unfortunately, they're just really good about upgrading these things, so... Oops. Oh well. Okay, let's get this set up here. So process silicon into trichlorosilane into the ingots. Well, that pipe connection's easy enough. Let's see, 2 yellows, 2 yellows, 2 yellows. The output we need 2 reds. There we go. Ingots will go in. And none of this actually requires any fuels, which is pretty convenient. Let's see, actually it might fit right here. Well, but we might want to use that space up there for processing the chlorine. Oh, but this won't work because the gas is here. I have to offset this a little bit. Put that right there. Hook that back up. Okay. Now we just need to make the hydrogen chloride gas, so we need an electrolyzer and a chemical plant. Let's see, let's put the electrolyzer right there. Making the chlorine gas, and the chemical plant. Making hydrogen chloride gas. Hey, look at that. The pipes match for once. And I'm fine with using an overflow valve here to send the excess hydrogen to the system to eventually be burned. So we are going to be producing more hydrogen than is necessary for this chemical reaction, so we can just get rid of the extra. I'm worried that it might need a buffer in there, because having these pipes so short, it might not work very well. So I kind of want to have a hydrogen and chlorine buffer. Nothing wrong with buffers, they certainly help things run smoother. There we go. I don't know if we need a buffer tank for the hydrogen chloride gas. Sure, why not? Let's get a light in there. And we are going to create sodium hydroxide as a byproduct. So can we use that on anything? Not yet. So we'll just have to hold on to it. And now we need to get saline water up here. Hopefully we've got enough from our tree production here. If not, then we'll actually have a shortage of saline water and we'll have to hook it up to all of the clarifiers that are all throughout the factory. I have the feeling this will be enough because it only needs 14 saline water on average, and I kind of recall wood producing a whole bunch, like 200. So I think even so, we should be just fine. Let's see, so what is going to be the easiest way of getting saline water up there? The cleanest way is probably going to go to the left. Something like this. Looking good. We're creating an excess of hydrogen gas. Eventually that will fill up and overflow into the main system. And we're slowly getting some hydrogen chloride gas here. Oh, is that lined up right? Oh, it's so close. So close to being straight. Oh well. So that's hooked up, and now we should be producing silicon again. Oh yeah, it requires silicon to make silicon. Which is very interesting. So we will need to have an inserter right there. And a priority splitter to put silicon in. So we need to seed this with something to get it started. So how much do we need to start? We need 6. Okay, well, we can do that real quick. Put some silicon in, some carbon in. Okay, that's more than enough. And now let's put the silicon in. And there we go. Ah, this guy creates hydrogen gas as well. So we need to pipe that back to the system as well. Might need a red belt here. There we go. And now we have silicon upgraded. So there's all our main resources. Iron, copper, and it looks like this system fixed itself. So now we just have an excess of copper. And then tin, lead. Nickel down here. Silicon down here. So, awesome. We have improved the efficiency of all of our ores by 50% by doing all of that. And looks like we've just about filled up this space, so we can't really take it any farther than this. But luckily the output's pretty good. We have no real shortage of resources. This is going to catch up, but we're full on steel and we're full on iron. So that's great. So now we can go back and start making engines and all those things. But that's going to have to wait until the next episode. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.